Now, blogging. I barely understand why someone blogs. I would have thought that if you wanted to spend your time doing something, you might get paid for it. But some people, they enjoy going on the interweb and doing things and not getting paid for it. I suppose ultimately they get paid for it, or maybe they get paid in friendship and likes and people contacting them. My next guest is Monica Tindall, originally from Coffs Harbour, and she's here on a break to visit family and friends in Adelaide. And she's a teacher based in Kuala Lumpur. But her love of food and travel has turned her blog into a sensation. So did you begin by was it just like a little diary you wrote just for your own purposes, and the next minute you found everyone was following you? How did it happen?
Hi, good morning, Ian. Well, it started off just very innocently. It was almost like an online travel diary where we'd travel around and write about our favorite places to eat and stay. And it was really very casual for the first couple of years. And then about 2 years ago, I started posting every day, do a lot of eating, a lot of traveling, living overseas. And it just became almost a sensation overnight.
So who suddenly discovered you? Was it someone in Australia or someone in America, and they told all their friends? How does a blog go viral?
I think what happened was I had lots of good quality content, and I'm an expat living overseas, and so I have a very niche market. People like me who are wanting to travel and discover and just discover their local community where they're living overseas, and so I was writing about the same types of things that they wanted to go and see and eat and explore.
What, in Kuala Lumpur?
Well, it started in Kuala Lumpur, but then really based around Southeast Asia. So we moved to Singapore, Hong Kong, Bali, Phuket. And so there are all destinations that people wanted to travel to, and they were interested in the information, writing from an expatriate perspective.
You have a good life. You have a good life, don't you? You just sort of, it's like when most people go and look at a shop with all the holidays packages there, you say, well, that's what I do. I just work there, and you get to have your life's one big long holiday.
It's perfect. I'm not complaining. It's definitely a great thing to do.
And when you travel around and you write these things, are you honest? Because some people who are bloggers. You know that they're just spruiking for the hotel or they're spruiking for the restaurant, and you can tell they're not really telling the truth. Do you tell the truth and say, saw a rat today run across the floor of the restaurant?
That's a great question. I've got a very firm philosophy, and it's a very positive philosophy, is that if we don't like it, we don't post it. So it's easy to avoid writing a negative review.
So you don't have to write, I saw a rat run across the floor of the restaurant. No.
But
have you seen a rat run across the floor of the restaurant?
Many places. I live in Southeast Asia, so yes, it's quite a common occurrence.
Yeah.
But I do promise restaurants that if I come in and visit, and if I like it, I write about it. If I don't, I'll give them written feedback on how they can improve. We've seen lots of over 2,000 restaurants in the last 4 years. So they take that as good value. They either get a great post because we've liked it, or they get constructive feedback on how they can improve.
I saw someone chasing a bat around a restaurant with a broom once in Southeast Asia. That was pretty frightening for the people inside the restaurant, because bats are a bit like rats with wings, aren't they?
I suppose so. Yeah. But it makes for a great travel story, doesn't it?
Yeah, they were running around with a broom and the thing was flying around. It had come into the restaurant, obviously looking for food. And which place has given you the best meals if you've travelled around Southeast Asia? Where do you really enjoy the most?
It's hard to say because each country has their own unique cuisine and specialties. Malaysia, which is where I'm based, is fantastic for their street food. You can't go wrong. You go out, get a $3 bowl of noodles or some roti canai, big bowl of laksa, and you're spending less, not even breaking a $5 note to get that awesome street food in Malaysia, for sure.
And you're a teacher. You teach what, English, or what are you teaching?
No, I teach year 1, so I teach 6-year-olds reading, writing, spelling, all the regular things. Don't pick your nose, wash your hands.
Right. And so
nice to your friends.
How did you get? Are these in the international schools, or where do you work?
Yeah, it's an international school, and so you find, especially in Southeast Asia, there's lots of expatriates working in oil and gas, in the embassies, and so it's a place for their children to go to school. And there's locals there as well, but they're generally locals that have travelled internationally and want to maintain their children's education in English. Yeah.
And do the children learn the local language as well? Because I always find it interesting, if people go to another country, they've got the opportunity for their children to become fluent in Indonesian or fluent in Malay or whatever. Do the expats just go there and say, let's create a little school, and they can go there and they can pretend they're still at Linden Park or they're still at wherever they are?
Well, for sure, you do find expats like that, but most of them are really quite adventurous, and they're really looking to maximise their child's education experience. So they maintain their English as their first language, or for many of the students, English is actually their second language, because we have students from Korea, from Japan, from Africa, from all over Europe.
Oh, okay. So when you say expat community, you're not just talking about expat Australians, you're talking about expats from everywhere go to this school.
Yes, that's right. Yeah. And then what the international school offers is an international qualification, so they can go anywhere else in the world and it's recognised.
And that's the baccalaureate or something, is it?
Yes.
IB.
That's
IB.
right.
And so Monica, are you one of these people that will never have a home? You're moving from place to place. Where will you call home in the end? The internet.
My mother's listening here. I have to say that Australia is going to be my home eventually. I hope she's happy with that answer. But for now, it's exciting. There's a big world out there, and there's lots to see and lots to do. I don't see myself settling down very soon.
And are the Tindalls from Adelaide? Are you said you're visiting family and friends in Adelaide or not?
No, I'm here visiting some friends. They actually taught with me in Kuala Lumpur. They're living here, but Mum and Dad are based in Coffs Harbour, and they flew down to see us.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
So we're doing a little bit of blogging, a little bit of seeing family and friends.
And will you blog about Adelaide's amazing food?
Oh, yes, for sure. Food in Adelaide is amazing. And what I think Australia has that lots of Southeast Asia has not recognised yet is Australians celebrate local and locally grown, whereas overseas you find there's a lot of value put on imported food, and this is all the advertisement, imported ham, imported milk, whereas Australia really tries to source it locally, and I think there's a great value in that.
And your blog spot is called Yum List.
The Yum List.
The Yum List.
theyumlist.blogspot.com.
And just on that thing about Australian food, while you're down here, you could go along to Parliament House. You know where our Parliament House is on North Terrace. Directly opposite that, there is a Malaysian place there, believe it or not, that does all the things you were talking about, roti chennai, and there's a building full of students, and down the bottom, it's almost as if you've walked into a side street in Malaysia.
I think that's a fabulous thing about Australia, is that you can get just about any type of cuisine from around the world. But I think the difference in Australia is that we have such high quality produce that it doesn't matter what cuisine you're making.
The chicken's better,
great.
or the vegetables taste better. Is that right?
Well, personally, I like things that are free range and grown locally. Again, that's not imported. I just think it's a lot fresher, and I think Australia's they max it with the local produce.
Where have you had the best Indian food? Because some people say that if you go to Singapore, you can get the best Indian food in the world, because for some reason Singapore has attracted a lot of Indians, hasn't it? So it's got little India there. Yeah.
Well, no doubt, Indian food in Singapore is fabulous, but I have to say Malaysia has good fabulous has fabulous Indian food.
Right.
Yeah, and I think also, again, it's part of having access to a variety of produce that you might not get access to in India, and also the water's cleaner. Yeah,
okay,
and you're not going to get sick eating it.
And you've done a couple of reviews already in Adelaide.
Okay, so we flew in. We had a midnight flight Friday night. Flew in, arrived lunchtime.
Did you review the food on the plane or not?
Oh no. No comment on the plane food. We arrived Saturday lunchtime, and before we even went to the hotel, we went straight to Red Door Bakery. Some local friends here had recommended that, and we had fabulous meat pies, sausage rolls, pastry. Yeah, there's some things you crave for when you're away for so long.
So you went and reviewed a meat pie.
Yeah. It's fabulous.
And I
want the local food,
Apparently they do good sausage rolls too.
Sausage rolls were fabulous. We had a lamb and eggplant sausage roll, which was great.
They used to call them surprise rolls at one stage when sausage rolls deteriorated, but they've come back from the...
you don't find any surprise rolls at Red Door Bakery. You know exactly where the food comes from.
Okay, and where else have you been then? There's another bakery that always wins the prizes down at the end of the Anzac Highway at the Royal Show. They I can't think of the name of it. Someone will tell us, but you could do a whole review of pies, pasties and sausage rolls.
You know what? I would love your listeners to write into the yumlist.blogspot.com and tell me their favourites. I'd love to. This is where I get all my leads.
Do you think that in Asia, that if you opened up a pie shop or somewhere selling vanilla slices, that they would be as crazy about our food as we are about eating rotis and eating curries and things like that? Because I've often wondered whether you could actually sell the meat pie, the sausage roll in Asia, or is it just...
Perhaps if you added a good dose of chili into it. They like things spicy.
Chili pie.
A chili pie. Meat pie with a good dose of chili in it might do well.
But don't you think the vanilla slice, have you had a vanilla slice?
Oh, yes.
Well, isn't that a sort of almost, if you made them in smaller portions, you could sell those or not?
Possibly, yeah.
You could take them back and test them with the test market. Anyway, if you want to give our guest Monica Tindall some ideas for her yum list so that perhaps sausage rolls and vanilla slices can go viral in Asia, just get onto her website and you just send you a message. That's all you have to do.
Yeah, if they find the yumlist.blogspot.com and then just leave a comment at the bottom, and I'd be happy to follow the recommendations.
All right. Well, do you want to say goodbye and thank you in Malaysian now? Because you can probably say all that, can you?
Oh, I could say it in a few different languages, but I'd rather just say it in English. And thanks for